Hi there crafty pals, Louise with you today. Thanks for checking out this video. I know I've said it most of the month, but this is also one of my favorites. I love how this one came together, and I certainly encourage you to scrap lift this, or even just a little technique that you see here too. So feel free to always use these layouts to inspire you, whether you're a kit subscriber or not. That's what it's all about when we share our creations on YouTube. So with this month's rustic feeling kit, I decided that I wanted to use corrugated cardboard. Now I've seen this used, it's been around for many years, and it's a great way to add texture, but also just a really interesting way to add layers and different type of element to your paper crafting. So I am using one of the pizza boxes that my Kitaholic kit comes in, and I'm simply going to spray a bunch of water onto the first layer of the cardboard, and you could use a craft knife. I like to destroy my fingernails by peeling it off with my fingernails, and the more water you add, the more it will sort of separate from that first layer that you can see where the corrugate is. And so I initially had in my mind that maybe I was going to peel off the entire top layer and just show the corrugate, but I kind of like how this looks with the bits of the first cardboard layer poking through. I really actually think that this is kind of a cool background, and so I decided to leave it as a combination of both, with the corrugate and the layer of cardboard as well. Now, my square doesn't have to be perfectly square, because of course I'm going to get my distress tool out to distress this corrugated cardboard layer. The distress tool has been my absolute best friend this month. I love how it looks in terms of the patterned papers and the rusticness of this kit. So pretty much everything that I've done this month is distressed around the edges. Now, I cut out the inner section of one of these pre-made sheets, and you can see I'm using that photo background as the mounting area for my corrugate. And I didn't go into this with the idea in my mind to use the inner section of that pre-made background, but I kind of like how this looks now that I'm starting to lay it out together. I chose this photo. It is of my animals, which it's not a super important photo, but I think that again the subject matter can really make or break the layout. And in this case, you can see that my dog's favorite position on a cool morning in the sun is on the trampoline, which they've kind of taken as their own, and I have this like wood background in my photo. And this morning I just happened to snap this picture of the two of them as I was leaving. They sat and watched me while I drove out of the driveway, so I thought it was kind of cute, and it really suited the theme of this month's kit and this really rustic background that I've got going on. And so once I'm happy with the papers around my photo, I'm gonna have a little bit of a play with some embellishments. And I know that it definitely needs something behind it. There's a lot going on. Like you can see, I've got a bottom layer, a corrugate layer, a background layer. I'm putting more paper, more elements in here, and trying to get my photo to lift, but also to blend. So it's quite a fine balance that you can sometimes struggle with, or I know I sometimes struggle with, is really helping to separate those layers out while still keeping your final project quite balanced. And you can see that I've got some twine. Now the twine, again, this is just a roll of the really cheap stuff that you get from the discount store. I think sometimes it's even in like the gardening section, they use it for gardening, but that is, I think, the most important part of separating the layers of this layout. As soon as I put that twine on and separated that sort of corrugate and this background section from my photo, this just really seemed to work. And I'm using very technical tools on the underside of my layers, and that is of course masking tape, which is cheap, readily available, and I find holds its stick really well. So it's purely just there to hang on to until I can get some different adhesive or some tacky glue or something to hold everything together, and you'll see that sometimes I'll just pop a few layers behind extra stick pretty much until it gets into an album, and then it's fairly secure and well held together. So I still need to work out how I'm going to get these layers behind my photo to work, and I do like this little scrap of patterned paper, so I'm going to have a bit of a play. I sort of wanted to keep things quite central because my border was equal, my cardstock was equal, I had sort of that central kind of element going on. I thought about trying to put my photo centrally, but it just wasn't fitting properly, and that's when I decided to offset it to the right and just give myself some area to play with over on that left-hand side. And I didn't go into this with the butterflies in mind. It was purely just that as I was looking through the pile of embellishments, and you can see that it's sort of fallen out, but I have a few of them, and I haven't used butterflies. I think it's a really fantastic little piece off to that left-hand side. It covers up the part of the photo and the background that's really not important to the story. And again, I'm just kind of grabbing a few bits and pieces that happen to sort of be at my attention during the creation of this page. So off camera, I've stuck down the little strip, I've stuck down the butterflies, and for the final stages, I'm just going to pop a few of these little enamel dots around. So the story with this particular layout is quite simple. It's really about the photo and getting quite textural, but I just love that corrugate. I think it looks fantastic. I love the inclusion of the twine and that layer of butterflies. It really is just a fabulous page, and definitely one of my favorites from this month. So thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed.